Hi, boys and girls, and welcome to another edition of Snack Time with a Dollop of Read Aloud. We're going to continue reading Number of the Stars, which, with permission granted by Houghton Mifflin Publishing, to share this book with you. Now, yesterday I asked you about Annemarie and choices that she'd have to make going forward. Some of those choices being, would she have to be brave? And your comments were amazing, really thoughtful, and I really enjoyed hearing your thoughts and your predictions. So let's read a little bit more today, and I really hope that Brain Pop video helped you. If you didn't get a chance to watch it, I'll attach it again below in case you missed it yesterday. But it's really a lot of good background information to help you kind of understand what's going on. So we're going to continue with Chapter 4. It will be a long night. Alone in the apartment, while Mama was out shopping with Kirsty, Annemarie and Ellen were sprawled on the living room floor playing with paper dolls. They had cut the dolls from Mama's magazines, old ones that she had saved from past years. The paper ladies had old-fashioned hairstyles and clothes that the girls had given them names from Mama's very favorite book. Mama had told Annemarie and Ellen the entire story of Gone with the Wind, and the girls thought it much more interesting and romantic than the king and queen tales that Kirsty seemed to love. "Come, Melanie," Annemarie said, walking her little doll across the edge of the rug. "Let's dress for the ball." "All right, Scarlet, I'm coming," Ellen replied in a very sophisticated voice. She was a talented performer. She often played the leading roles in the school's performances or the school's dramatics. Games of imagination were always fun when Ellen played. The door opened and Kirsty stomped in, her face tear-stained and glowering. Mama followed her with an exasperated look and set down a package on the table. "I won't," Kirsty sputtered. "I won't ever wear them. Not if you chain me in a prison and beat me with sticks." Annemarie giggled and looked questioningly at her mother. Mrs. Johansens sighed. "I bought Kirsty some new shoes," she explained. She had outgrown her old ones. "Goodness, Kirsty," Ellen said. "I wish my mother would get me some new shoes. I love new things, and it's hard to find them in the stores." "Not if you go to the fish store," Kirsty bellowed. "But most mothers wouldn't make their daughter wear ugly fish shoes." "Kirsten," Mama said soothingly, "you know it wasn't a fish store, and you were lucky to find shoes at all." Kirsty sniffed. "Show them," she commanded. "Show Ellen and Annemarie how ugly they are." Mama opened the package and took out a pair of little girl shoes. She held them up, and Kirsty looked at them in disgust. "Ugh. You know there's no leather anymore," Mama explained. "But they found a new way to make shoes. And the shoes are made out of fish skin. I don't think these are too ugly." Now remember, boys and girls, this kind of goes back to your social studies, where the necessity is the mother of invention. Leather was being used by all the Nazi troops to make their boots and their belts and whatever else they were using it for. So leather wasn't available to the regular people of Europe or specifically Denmark. So they had to find a new way to make shoes because people were still going to need shoes even though there wasn't leather available. So they found other materials to make shoes out of. This happens to be fish scales or fish skin. Once the scales have been removed, they use the skin, I guess, or maybe the scales are still attached. I don't know. But it's the outer skin of a fish, which truthfully, leather is the outer skin of a cow. So leather is being replaced now by fish skin, which Kirsty is very offended by the way. But leather is one of those things now that isn't available to the people of Denmark. So they had to come up with another way. They had a need. They needed leather of some kind for shoes. They came up with a new way to do it. So that's the invention. Fish shoes instead of leather shoes. Annemarie and Ellen looked at the fish-skin shoes. Annemarie took one in her hand and examined it. It was odd-looking. The fish scales were visible. Oh, so the scales are still there. But it was a shoe, and her sister needed new ones. It's not bad, Kirsty, she said, lying a little. Ellen turned the other one over in her hand. You know, it's only the color that's ugly. Green, Kirsty wailed. I will never, ever wear green shoes. In our apartment, Ellen told her, my father has a jar of black ink. Would you like these shoes better if they were black? Kirsty frowned. Maybe I would, she said finally. Well then, Ellen told her, tonight, if your mama doesn't mind, I'll take these shoes home and ask my father to make them black for you with his ink. Mama laughed. I think that would be a fine improvement. What do you think, Kirsty? Kirsty pondered. Could he make them shiny? I would like them shiny, she answered. Ellen nodded. I think he could. I think they'll be quite pretty, shiny and black. Kirsty nodded. All right then, she said. But you mustn't tell anyone that they're fish. I don't want anyone to know. She took her new shoes, holding them disdainfully, so she held them like they smelled, and put them on the chair. Then she looked with interest at the paper dolls. Can I play too? Can I have a doll? She squatted beside Annemarie and Ellen on the floor. Sometimes Annemarie thought Kirsty was such a pest, always butting in, but the apartment was small. There was no other place for Kirsty to play, and if they told her to go away, Mama would scold them. Here, Annemarie said, and handed her a sister with a cutout little girl doll. We're playing Gone with the Wind. Melanie and Scarlett are going to the ball. You can be Bonnie. She's Scarlett's daughter. Kirsty danced her doll up and down happily. I'm going to a ball, she announced in a high pretend voice. Ellen giggled. A little girl wouldn't go to a ball. Let's make them go someplace else. Let's make them go to Tivoli. Tivoli! Annemarie began to laugh. That's in Copenhagen. Gone with the Wind is in America. Tivoli, 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 little Kirsty sang, twirling her doll in a circle. It doesn't matter because it's only a game anyways, Ellen pointed out. Tivoli can be over there by the chair. Come, Scarlett, she said, using her doll voice. We shall go to Tivoli and dance and watch fireworks, and maybe there will be some handsome men there. Bring your silly daughter Bonnie, and she can ride the carousel. Annemarie grinned and walked her Scarlett towards the chair and that Ellen had designed or designated as Tivoli. She loved Tivoli Gardens. In the heart of Copenhagen, her parents had taken her there often when she was a little girl. She remembered the music and the brightly colored lights, the carousel and ice cream, and especially the magnificent fireworks in the evening. The huge colored splashes and bursts of lights in the evening sky. I remember the fireworks best of all, she commented to Ellen. Me too, Kirsty said. I remember the fireworks. Silly, Annemarie scoffed. You never even saw fireworks. Tivoli Gardens was closed now. The German occupation forces had burnt part of it, perhaps as a way to punish the fun-loving Danes for their light-hearted pleasures. Kirsty drew herself up, her shoulders stiff. I did too. It was my birthday. I woke up in the middle of the night and I could hear the booms, and there were lights on in the sky, and Mama said it was fireworks for my birthday. Then Annemarie remembered. Kirsty's birthday was in late August, and that night, only a month before, she too had been awoken and frightened by the sounds of explosion. Kirsty was right. The sky in the southeast had been ablaze, and Mama had comforted her by calling it a birthday celebration. Imagine such fireworks for a little girl 5 years old, Mama had said, sitting on her bed, while the dark curtain aside to look through the window at the lightened sky. The next evening's newspaper had told the sad truth that the Danes had destroyed their own naval fleet, blowing up vessels one by one as the Germans approached to take their ships for their own use. How sad the king must be, Annemarie had heard Mama say to Papa when they read the news. How proud, Papa had replied. It had made Annemarie feel sad and proud too, to picture the tall, aging king, perhaps with tears in his blue eyes, as he looked at the remains of his small navy, which now lay submerged and broken in the harbor. So just so you know, remember how they said that King Christian kind of surrendered and he didn't want to fight the Nazis in the beginning of the book because he was afraid that too many Danish men would die fighting against an army that was huge and super powerful? Well, when Germany came to take over Denmark, King Christian didn't want any Danish weapons being used at all by the Nazis. So he blew up all of his own ships to keep the Nazis from being able to use them. I think Papa was right. I think King Christian was pretty brave. I don't want to play anymore, Ellen, she said suddenly, and put her doll on the table. I have to go home anyways, Ellen said. I have to help Mama with the house cleaning. Thursday is our New Year. Did you know that? Why is it your New Year? Asked Kirsty. Isn't it our New Year too? No, it's the Jewish New Year. That's just for us. But if you want, Kirsty, you can come that night and watch Mama light the candles. Annemarie and Kirsty had often been invited to watch the Rosens light the Sabbath candles on Friday evenings. She covered her head with a cloth and said a prayer in Hebrew as she did so. Annemarie always stood very quietly, awed to watch. Even Kirsty, usually a chatterbox, was always still at that time. They didn't understand the words or the meaning, but they could feel what a special time it was for the Rosens. Yes, Kirsty agreed happily. I'll come and watch your Mama light the candles, and I'll wear my new black shoes. But this time was to be different. Leaving for school on Thursday with her sister, Annemarie saw the Rosens walking to the synagogue early in the morning. Dressed in their best clothes, she waved to Ellen, who waved back happily. Lucky Ellen, Annemarie said to Kirsty. She doesn't have to go to school today. But she probably has to sit very, very still like we do in church, Kirsty pointed out. And that's no fun. That afternoon, Mrs. Rosen knocked at the door but didn't come inside. Instead, she spoke for a long time in a hurried, tense voice to Anne-Marie's mother in the hall. When Mama returned, her face was worried, but her voice was cheerful. Girls, we have a nice surprise. Tonight, Ellen will be coming to stay overnight, to be our guest for a few days. It isn't often we get to have a visitor. Kirsty clapped her hands in delight. But Mama, Annemarie said in dismay, it's their New Year. They were going to have a celebration at home. Ellen told me that her mother managed to get a chicken someplace, and she was going to roast it. Their first roasted chicken in a year or more. Their plans have changed, Mama said briskly. Mr. and Mrs. Rosen have been called away to visit some relatives, so Ellen will stay with us. Now let's get busy and put some clean sheets on your bed. Kirsty, you may sleep with Mama and Papa tonight, and we'll let the big girls giggle together by themselves. Kirsty pouted, and it was clear that she thought this was a terrible idea. Mama will tell you a special story tonight, and one just for you. About a king? Kirsty asked dubiously. About a king, if you wish, Mama replied. All right then, but there must be a queen too. Though Mrs. Rosen had sent her chicken to the Johansens, and Mama had made a lovely dinner large enough for second helpings all around, it was not an evening of laughter or of talk. Ellen sat quiet at dinner. She seemed frightened. Mama and Papa tried to speak of cheerful things, but it was clear that they were worried. And it made Annemarie worry too. Only Kirsty was unaware of the quiet tension in the room. Swinging her feet in her newly blackened and shiny shoes, she chattered and giggled during dinner. Early bedtime tonight, little one, Mama announced after dishes were washed. We need extra time for the long story I promised about the king and the queen. She disappeared with Kirsty into the bedroom. What's happening? Annemarie asked when she and Ellen were alone with Papa in the living room. Something's wrong. What is it? Papa's face was troubled. I wish I could protect you children from this knowledge, he said quietly. Ellen, you must already know. Now we have to tell Annemarie. He turned to her and stroked her hair with a gentle hand. This morning at the synagogue, the rabbi is like a pastor for the Jewish faith. He's their religious leader. The rabbi told his congregation that the Nazis have taken the synagogue's list of all the Jews in Denmark. Where they live, what their names are. Of course, the Rosens were on that list, along with many others. Why? Why would they want their names? They planned to arrest all the Danish Jews. They planned to take them away, and we have been told that they might come this very night. I don't understand. Take them where? Her father shook his head. We don't know where, and we don't really know why. They call it relocation. We don't even know what that means. We only know that it is wrong, and it is dangerous, and we must help. Annemarie was stunned. She looked at Ellen and saw her best friend was crying silently. Where are Ellen's parents? We must help them too. We couldn't take all three of them. If the Germans came to search our apartment, it would be clear that the Rosens were here. One person we can hide, not three. So Peters helped Ellen's parents go elsewhere. We don't know where. Ellen doesn't know either, but they are safe. Ellen sobbed aloud and put her face in her hands. Papa put his arm around her. They are safe, Ellen. I promise you that. You will see them again quite soon. Can you try hard to believe my promises? Ellen hesitated, nodded, and wiped her eyes with her hand. But Papa, Annemarie said, looking around the small apartment with its few pieces of furniture, the fat stuffed sofa, the table and chairs, the small bookcase around the wall, or against the wall. You said we would hide her here. How can we do that? Where can she hide? Papa smiled. That part is easy. It will be as your mama said. You two will sleep together in your bed, and you may giggle and talk and tell secrets to each other. And if anyone comes, Ellen interrupted him. Who might come? Will it be soldiers? Like the ones on the corner? Annemarie remembered how terrified Ellen had looked the day when the soldier had questioned them on the corner. I really don't think anyone will, but it never hurts to be prepared. If anyone should come, even soldiers, you two will be sisters. You are together so much, it would be easy for you to pretend as such. He rose and walked to the window. He pulled the lace curtain aside and looked down into the street. Outside it was beginning to grow dark. Soon they would have to draw the black curtains that all Danes had on their windows. The entire city had to be completely darkened at night. In a nearby tree a bird was singing. Otherwise, it was quiet. It was the last night of September. Go now and get into your nightgowns. It'll be a long night. Annemarie and Ellen got to their feet. Papa suddenly crossed the room and put his arms around them both. He kissed the top of each head. Anne-Marie's blonde one, which reached his shoulder, and Ellen's dark curly hair, the thick curls braided as always into pigtails. Don't be frightened, he said to them softly. Once I had 3 daughters, and tonight I am proud to have 3 daughters again. All right. Oh my goodness. So that was quite a night. It was definitely not a night that Ellen or Annemarie had expected, but it was an important night. Ellen is now going to be hiding in plain sight with the Johansens. And she will no longer be a Rosen. She will be a Johansen until she is safe to find her parents again. So I want you to think about that. And remember the question that we asked yesterday. Will Annemarie be forced to be brave? Think about that question. Think about how she'll be able to help Ellen. And will it be brave of her to do this? Write your thoughts in the section below. And again, if you didn't get a chance to watch the Brain Pop video yesterday, I'm going to reattach it so you can watch it today. Remember, your username is Delran. The password is Brain Pop, all lowercase letters. All right, boys and girls, that's the end of our read aloud for today. I hope you have a great weekend. Don't forget, our class share is at 11 o'clock, and I hope to see you all there. All right, miss you, love you, stay safe. Bye, guys.